continue to do the work. And we invited John to do the assembling of P100. And you can join us do this work together.
Okay, everyone, nice to meet you again. In this session, I'll get all this mess cleaned up and make the P100 one piece again. So let's get started. So last time we get this central cable hub removed lastly. So we're gonna reinstall that firstly. Take note that this thing is symmetrical, so make sure the install direction is the same. The 3 ports for the flight controller is on this side, and the 2 tilted port for nozzles are on the other side. Get the cables managed well, and then we install the flight controller. There are a lot of cables here, so these thick cables are for the front modules, and these 3 together with this little hollow thing is for the 3 ones on the central cable hub. So let's get these 3 through the hole inside the main fuselage. Okay. All right, we get it through, and also make sure the 3 cables inside are in the same sequence as it comes from the flight controller. If you think this is hard, then don't worry, you can match the labels on the cable with our indicator inside the front hood, and just do all the cable plugging. That's it. Then we can fix our flight controller to the fuselage. Well, I think I can make that hollow thing in place first. This can be a little bit tricky because the screw holes are deep inside, so we can use this side hole to get our hands inside to assist the screwdriver to get the screw in place. Next, we get all these antenna cables managed well. Just line them up one by one as the sequence from the flight controller. As you may notice, actually the RTK antenna connector is different. I mean the left one and the right ones, they are different. So as soon as you install them correctly, you are less likely to connect them wrong. All right. Check if the flight controller is tightened. Next is to install this cable organizer above the flight controller. There are little two clips that's fitting the front compartment in the front. So just sliding this way. Sometimes it can be a little bit tight. Oh. And okay. All right. Next, I think we can get all the antennas connected. Just match all the cable. I mean, this is 4G, so whatever 4G is okay. 4G. The other one is 4G as well, so just find 4G. There you are. Clip them in the cable organizer, and then there goes RTK. So we find RTK here, clipping, tight and firm, and what it says, it's the left radio antenna. So let's find the radio antenna. Then it's radio antenna again. Let's get this cable managed better. Okay, radio, let's find the radio. I think this one. 2.4 or 5.8 gigahertz. Plug in, click in, and oh, this goes beneath this cable better, and the RTK R, and last two ones are the 4G. Okay, so this looks better. Next, we can flip it over to get anything beneath here connected. Firstly is our UPS module. Okay then, terrain module. Just to confirm that's firm and tight. The little M3 screws. Oh. M2.5 actually. Nice and tight. Get the cable back in place. Next, the FPV camera. For the FPV camera, because this thing is symmetrical, and do not install that wrong, make sure the cable of the camera is on the right hand side of this aircraft, like this, and the serial number is facing the nose of the flight, facing the nose of the aircraft. That's it. So let's clip it into place. That will take some effort. Okay, and just install that. Okay, so let's focus in the front. Next is our front radar. Well, same as the FPV camera, this radar is also directional. The cable of this radar should be also on the right hand side of this aircraft, and there is also a notch on the fuselage to match this cable. So just match the cable with the notch, stick it in place. Oh. Get it in place actually, and get the screw onto that part. Next, we're gonna install our side panel. Flip it here. It can be a little bit tricky with this screw on, so we remove that. Get them in place. Next is our battery plug. You may notice this thing is not symmetrical. The two sides is different, and on this side it is relatively flat, and there are three big notches here that will match with the three little pins on the other side. Okay, and also make sure it has two little rubber buffer here. Make sure these two buffers are installed correctly, and match them to the pins on the plastic part. And then you can close down this cover, hold it in place, and screw on. The place, the space is limited, so we just use the key of the screwdriver. Okay, then we're using our rigid wrench again. Oops. Okay, so when it comes to connecting the battery port to the central cable hub, you may notice the positive side and the negative side, they are of different shape. So you don't have to worry about connecting them wrong. Just match the shape of the connector onto the shape of the central cable hub. That's it. And also make sure the little isolator is installed on the screw, and then we can just screw in. Make sure these screws are nice and tight, and do check the firmness of these screws every week of operation. Let's do the same for the other side. Get all the cables connected. There's a cable organizer here, so we can clip these cables in place. A little bit hard, so do not get your fingers cut. You can use a screwdriver as an assistant. Okay. Now remember this big fat cable, so that's for the application system. Get that inside, and just clip it here. That's it. Okay, so I think that's pretty much for this side. Flip over. Get the fat cable connected, and also get the 3 cables from the flight controller connected. Horizontal one to the middle. That's 108 to the right hand side. 107 to the left hand side. Okay, good. Then it's our front modules. So 104 is the FPV camera. Let's get it connected to the FPV camera port and get it in place. This part is not usable, so just stick it here. And this one is actually the radar. This is the radar port 103. 103. Clip it inside. 101. That is the UPS module. So get the UPS module connected. Clip it inside. Last one, terrain module 102. So terrain module inside. Clicking. Whoa. It's anything happened here? No. Can be a little bit tricky to get every cable in place. Alright, that's it. That's the cables in the front. If you have some cable ties, you may tie them down to the little cable organizers at the 2 sides. Alright, so I think this is pretty much for the fuselage. Okay, let's move on to the arm. Firstly, we got the sprayer reinstalled. Reach wrench and a little screwdriver. This is a sprayer. Next, we move on to the motor. So you do remember we have a special design for the motor connectors. So let's firstly get the connector brackets reinstalled in place. That is fixed by 2 tapping screws here, and we need a bigger screwdriver. match the sequence of the motor, I mean the power cord of the motor. You can match the color to install these 3 connectors in place. Before fitting these connectors, make sure the 3 white isolators are in place as well. So yellow, green, and blue. Okay. Next, we can fitting our motor bracket. Remove this part first, and sliding. Okay, we sliding the motor together with the motor bracket, and we can find our pins and rubber buffers, also the screws, and get them back in place. When installing these pins, make sure the threaded side is on the outside. You don't have to push that all the way to the bottom, because afterwards we're going to install the screws to force it. But anyway, we should make sure they are aligned together so that will hold the motor bracket in place. This is a bit hard work. I'm using the electronic driver. Okay, and then use hand to make sure the torque is great enough. Motor installed, and then it's the connector. Match the color for the connectors, fit them in place, and just the screws. for the assembly of this aircraft. Just check if there's any parts or screws left it. Okay, so I think that's so much for the assembly session.